General Abrams and Mendel Rivers to eat hog maws confiscated from a...
Hello everybody, I'm Bryan Miller, here with Johnny Sorrow, and we're back. This is Whatamanoover. I'm going to bring it down a notch. I'm going to talk about something serious. We joke a lot on this show, but there's some serious things that we need to discuss as wrestling fans and members of the internet wrestling community. And one of the biggest problems that we've had in wrestling over the years, of course, is that evil blight, that original sin, racism.
Now, you see, racism has existed in professional wrestling since there's been professional wrestling. And there are lots and lots and lots of examples of it. However, there are many times in this politically correct day and age where people point at something and say that's racist when it's not. And I think that takes away from the power of the real racism. So I have appointed myself the voice of Black Internet Wrestling Radio, as my father's family dates back to the early 1700s and was from the South and had slaves and plantations. And someone did a family tree once, and let me just say, there's some, Thomas Jefferson, Sally Jennings type of things going on in my background. So in my blood runs the same blood of proud Nubian warriors.
What's a Nubian?
Shut the fuck up. So right now I'm going to channel my background and wait for the Gil Scott-Heron song to help us go in, as Johnny Sorrow now becomes Shazeem Abdullah Sorrow Allah. I called to Farouk. I called to Kamala. I called to Coco Beware. Bobo Brazil. Sailor Art Thomas. I called to you. My bone brothers. Yeah. All right, we're ready. I'm feeling ready, man. I think my dick just got 4 inches bigger. Anyway, the other day here on Pro Wrestling 24/7 Radio, PW247radio.com, my brother Nick was talking about racism in wrestling. And he had many a good point, but I needed to point some things out, and I did so in the chat room where you should be right now, giving your input, honkies. And he was pointing out things that he felt was racist in wrestling. I needed to point out these things that were not. They were not, my brother. First of all, the Nation of Domination. You see, the Nation of Domination. He was mentioning black militants. And I was like, I don't see black militants. I see 4 strong black brothers. But before that, the original Nation, it was Farouk, of course. And D'Lo was in a suit and fat, and not called D'Lo, and someone else. But then you had Savio Vega, a Puerto Rican, a Crush, a big white Hawaiian, and PG-13, 2 little rednecks from Tennessee. That, my friends, is not a Nation of Domination. That is a rainbow coalition. Salam alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
My brother. And then, when they became the Nation, when he fired their asses and brought D'Lo up to be a wrestler, because he was always there, who'd they bring in? Yes, they brought in The Rock. And it was been said it was racist that when The Rock turned heel that he joined the Nation. Well, where else would he join? It's not racist. He was being treated like shit by the crowd. So he went where he was wanted amongst 3 other strong black brothers. D'Lo Brown, the Godfather, Kama Mustafa, and Farouk Assad. And the Nation of Domination wasn't racist. If it's racist, I mean, there's 4 strong giant black brothers. Ain't gonna take no shit off nobody. That's not racist. That's white people call that racist because they're scared of what would happen. Now, of course, The Rock, took over and and ruined it all for them. But there's nothing racist about that. Now, the other racist, so-called racist point, was talking about, and Allah bless his eternal soul, the Junkyard Dog, the JYD, Sylvester Jones. Now, it's been said that the Junkyard Dog was a racist gimmick, and I say the name, my brothers. Salam alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
My brothers. You see, when the Sylvester Twitter, I'm sorry, Sylvester Jones.
Twitter.
It was his name. And he was ahead of his time, the Junkyard Dog was. And when he first became the Junkyard Dog, he wore the chain not as a symbol of oppression. He wore the chain as a symbol of freedom. And he was as tough as a Junkyard Dog, and he would wear that chain down in Mid-South, amongst some of the most racist crowds in the world. And he became the biggest star they ever had. And he wasn't shucking and jiving. If he danced around, big deal. Are you mean to tell me that it's now a negative that we as powerful, strong black men have rhythm? I say the nay, my brother. We have rhythm. That's a positive stereotype. It's like saying it's a negative stereotype that we have giant penises or like fried chicken and watermelon. If you tell me somebody who doesn't like fried chicken or watermelon, I'll be suspicious of them because it's delicious. We're not genetically predisposed to like it. We're just smart enough to know that it's the most bestest food ever. And I'll pay Dave Chappelle $10 for that joke. And then, in fact, one of my favorite stories about JYD in Mid-South was, even though, back in the day, the promotion was owned by Bill Watts, the areas, the arenas were owned by other people. And there was one guy who owned a certain area and arena where they would run house shows who was known as being just the most racist guy in the world. And Bill Watts tells a story laughing his ass off about how JYD got on TV and mentioned the promoter's name. He's like, I'll be coming down to, Charlie Jones's area. And he's such a nice man that he invited me over. And I'll be coming to his house. And I'll be bringing some collard greens. And I'll be bringing some fried chicken. And we're going to have a lovely dinner right in the middle of his neighborhood. Supposedly this guy went crazy, but couldn't do anything because Watts controlled the promotion. And the Junkyard Dog was the Hulk Hogan of that promotion. Speaking of Hulk Hogan, JYD goes to the WWF. They say now he started acting like a clown. And I say, not really. He feuded with Greg the Hammer Valentine. He feuded with Roddy Piper. He feuded with King Harley Race. He got fat. He got lazy. He did way too much cocaine. But he wasn't a clown. And if you thought he was acting more like a clown and less like a proud black brother, look at the WWE in 1984, 1985 and tell me who wasn't acting like a clown. Everybody was acting like a clown. There was not that JYD suddenly became an Uncle Tom, and that's wrong to assume so, and a blight on his memory. Alaikum salam.
Well, he said it backwards. Salam alaikum.
You see Whitey? I got to keep Whitey on his toes.
I don't know how to, I'm not down with all the different variations of that. Because I'm white and I don't understand your culture. And I apologize if I've offended you. It's not my intention to be racist at all. In fact, I feel very guilty for getting that wrong, and I will do better in the future to do that right for you, because you deserve it, because you put up with so much oppression and blatant racism in the last 400, 500 years, and I feel personally responsible for most of it.
That's okay. Speaking for all black people, Bryan Miller, we forgive you.
Thank you.
You're okay. You're one of us.
Good.
Feel free to walk the streets of Reno, any neighborhood, at any time. And if they say, if any of my fine black brothers say anything to you, say, yo, I'm a brother, according to Shazeem Abdullah of
Alaikum salam.
PW247radio.com. Salam alaikum, my brother. Now we get into an area that some might call a little edgy. And I'm talking about a true African warrior, that being Kamala, the Ugandan giant. Kamala was not racist. Kamala was feared. Kamala, people didn't want to fuck with Kamala. Let's face it, he was Sugar Bear Jones and was not getting over. And then suddenly, Jerry Jarrett and Jerry Lawler had an idea. And they dressed him up like that. They got some stuff that Jerry Jarrett had from a vacation to Africa. They went out into Jerry Jarrett's backyard and filmed him walking through the weeds as if he was a jungle warrior from Uganda. And he got over so well that he worked that gimmick in every single territory there was, made a lot of money, and it was never racist. It was never real. He wasn't racist. He was a scary jungle warrior. He ate chickens.
It was kind of stereotypical.
It's
African savage, sort of racist. Let's give it a
sort of pygmy.
And he probably ate a few.
He probably ate a few. Sugar Bear Harris. One of my favorite Kamala stories, by the way, was he was on the road one time, and he was in a hotel, and he was staying in a hotel room, and in the hotel room next to him was Pat Patterson and Steve Lombardi. I'm only repeating what Kamala has said, Jim Harris himself has said. And he said he couldn't sleep at night as the two of them were going at it in the room next to him. And all he could hear was Pat Patterson screaming while the Brooklyn Brawler was going, "You take it. You take it." And I felt, poor Jim. Imagine having to hear that all night long. Oh, especially with Pat Patterson's terrible English.
Yeah, it probably sounded like gay porn or maybe an ROH match.
All right, Stan Grubb has joined us. Gee, all the management, I believe, is joining us at this point. Salam alaikum, my brother.
Alaikum salam.
I will tell you one thing that I think was incredibly racist in pro wrestling, and that was Akeem. because I can't think of anything more offensive than a big, fat, bearded white man pretending to be black and African. That offends me to my bones, my brother. And on that note, I need to channel out and bring back the sorrow that you know. Hey!